Morning, Dave.
Hey, good morning, boys.
Did you just
Is
hear
this
that?
a Lockie Galvin free zone?
No,
No, it's
sorry.
not, sadly.
Oh, I
Sorry.
didn't think so.
Well,
Sorry.
I
keep
didn't think
going.
Do you want to talk Origin or something, or?
No, let's go.
We'll do that later. Let's talk about Sexton and Mahoney. Reid Mahoney, Toby Sexton. Toby Sexton. It seems like there's been a little bit of agitation from his manager early in the season. Obviously, leading the competition. You know, Toby's going to re-sign. But they haven't re-signed him, which says everything. They haven't re-signed him, and they're not going to re-sign him, are they? That will be the end of Toby Sexton at the Bulldogs, and Reid Mahoney. Doesn't matter how you put it. We just had a text message say that Reid's manager has been pushing for this, and Gus said wait for the new TV deal, or I don't know if he said that or not. That's just on the text message. Reid Mahoney looks like he's gone as well.
Yeah, look, firstly, Toby Sexton, fellas. You're right. It was magic round. It was magic round that Toby Sexton's manager came out in the media and began discussing the fact that he was set to sit down with Phil Gould and re-sign. Now, my understanding is that agitated the Bulldogs, mostly Gus, as far as, well, that's not the case. We're still a bit of a wait and see on Sexton. It's up to you, Toby Sexton, to show us we want to re-sign you. And that was where it stood. So I don't think the agent did himself any favours as far as coming out in the media and declaring that they're about to sit down and re-sign, when behind closed doors that wasn't the case. That was magic round. And from then on, Toby just hasn't been able to hit the heights that they would hoped. And in the background, of course, is the Lachlan Galvin situation. So they had to make a move, and this is where we sit with Toby Sexton. I'm with you. Look, he highly unlikely. Well, he's not going to be there because his agent has now come out and said that we're out of here. Even if the Dogs put forward an offer, we won't be accepting. We'll be moving somewhere else. So it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. Look, the Titans are an obvious landing spot, given that Toby was previously there. They always have issues in the halves as far as a halfback is concerned. Kieran Foran doing his best to get back onto the paddock. So Toby Sexton. Reid Mahoney's a big story, guys. Clearly a former club captain of the Bulldogs. The thing with Mahoney is there's just been noise around Reid for so long now. It's long, more than 12 months as far as his future at the Dogs is concerned. Contracted through until 2026. And my understanding is exactly the way Vossy explained it. Sam Ayoub went to Gus and said, look, can we get a contract extension? Gus said, no, highly unlikely. We don't know what the salary cap looks like. And coupled with that is that they believe Bailey Haywood is the future as far as their dummy half is concerned. And Gus indicated, do your best to go and get a longer term beyond 26, of which what we know is once they get that deal beyond 26, it indicates the potential of an early release either at the end of this season or even earlier.
Wow.
So let's see how that unfolds.
Yeah, even earlier.
The Cowboys, guys.
Cowboys.
The
Cowboys.
the Cowboys are my early tip. They still haven't replaced Reece Robson, who's off to the Roosters. And Reid Mahoney's name's certainly been mentioned up at the Cowboys.
Okay, wow. This is from the competition leaders. How good is rugby league? It just never, ever sleeps. Now, where to for the Parramatta Eels? Galvin not going there. Dylan Brown is out of there. Where to for Parramatta?
Yeah, Vossy. Look, one thing I will say is how close they came. And let it be said, this deal still isn't actually done with Galvin and the Dogs just yet. So, as you just said, rugby league does crazy things, Vossy. So we certainly believe that Galvin will go to the Dogs, but he still hasn't signed that contract. So, look, the Parramatta Eels on Friday night, they thought they were well in front as far as getting Galvin, and even into Saturday morning. And then Galvin decided that he wanted to head to the Dogs. It has left them high and dry. We're remembering how confident they were as far as their language around getting Galvin. Jason Riles spoke confidently about it, wanting Galvin at the club. Mitchell Moses rarely dives into a discussion around player recruitment. He was confident of Galvin joining him. And I think Mitchell Moses, guys, is the major factor here. I don't think Parramatta will struggle in getting a player or a quality 5'8" to play alongside Mitch Moses because of the calibre of Moses is. And this is one of the major attractions to younger players. They want to play alongside experienced halves. And Blaze Talungi's a perfect example. He went to Penrith to play alongside Nathan Cleary. And while ever Mitchell Moses is at Parramatta, I think that's the biggest lure that they've got in getting a quality player. And for me, the boat's going to get rocking at the Roosters, where Daly Cherry Evans is expected to turn up. And we now know the quality of depth in the halves that the Roosters have. And Sandon Smith's name's certainly been one that has popped up in the last 24 hours as being a potential option for the Eels. So, look, honestly, I don't think they'll struggle, as I said, because of Mitchell Moses.
Okay, fair point too. Fair point, David. Origin is struggling to get a headline with all that's going on. It is. It is.
Yeah,
and
spot on.
Now, but boy, have we got one. Spying drama. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, right on the eve of Origin 1, this situation has unfolded where the New South Wales Blues are filthy, absolutely filthy, about how footage of Stephen Crichton limping from the field with this corked quad made its way into the mainstream media. Now, for listeners out there is a 15-minute window for media to film training of the Blues at the start of the session. Now, it was well after the 15-minute period that Stephen Crichton hobbles from the field, of which this vision has now emerged. And so there's all sorts of claims from the Blues, of which they are now seeking their own drone footage. Every single team has a drone over the top of training. They are looking through that drone footage overnight to determine if they can find someone filming the session, and then the potential of which that session, the footage of that session being sent to the Queensland camp. Now, it's finally a little bit of argy-bargy from the Blues as far as what are Queensland up to here. Yeah. They certainly feel that the Maroons might be behind this.
I think the Premier's got to step in. I think, Chris, it's up to Mins, and I call on him now, a call to arms, to declare war on these bastards. I just think this is the height. What if the camera, I'm just throwing it hypothetically as I think about it, if the spy camera was a drone, would Laurie have to have a second drone above all the drones to shoot the drones?
Yeah, that's right.
Why wouldn't they use a drone?
Take it out.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they use a drone to get the footage of the training? Wouldn't that be better footage than someone shooting from a mobile phone in a grandstand?
Yeah.
Well, I'm being honest. Like, if it's a Faircom spy, it's a pretty low-budget spy. He's using his phone sitting in the grandstand to shoot training. Why wouldn't he use something more elaborate like another drone?
I've seen it happen.
Why wouldn't he use a drone? Get real decent footage of how their shape is looking out the back of shape.
Cause
dramas. Brandy, correct me if I'm wrong, but is your son not a drone flyer?
Oh, hang on a second. We've got a double agent.
For want of
a
a better term?
Not in this camp. No.
Not in this camp.
Right, no.
Okay. However, he may be worth an expert call.
Yeah.
On
I think
on
how
this
to get him on down.
How it can go down.
Hang on a second. Isn't Scott Sattler, isn't his side hustle private agent, like Private Eye?
Yes.
It is.
Oh, Sattler.
PI.
Number one suspect.
Yeah.
Put him up first. It'd be Sattler's got his fingers all over this.
David, what are they thinking about Stephen Crichton? Is he going to be okay?
Look, there's a level of confidence that he'll be okay. It is a cork. It was pointed out to me that if he misses Origin 1 due to a cork, now I know there's clearly bad ones, and he looked ginger coming from the training paddock.
Well, Tommy Trebojevic played with a cork, and we've seen how that can affect.
Yeah,
like it can have an effect if corks are bad enough. Yeah.
So look, I will say, look, as of last night, there was a level of confidence, genuine confidence that Crichton will be okay. Yep. However, that you do have to plan for plan B.
Yep.
And that was Matt Burton entering camp last night to join the Blues as a backup scenario.
But so
Campbell Graham
isn't.
Yeah.
Wouldn't Campbell Graham be the player in?
Yeah, I
Well, he
think
was
so
in the squad.
too.
Matt
but
Burton wasn't. What's the point of the squad?
And Campbell has spent the majority of the prep with the Blues, so I would think he is. But there is a suggestion, Vossy, that Matt Burton could actually be parachuted in ahead of Campbell. So look, it's all ifs and maybes until we determine whether Crichton is in or out. But as I said, bad cork, Crichton a tough bugger. I think he plays.
Right. Okay. I've just got some mail here too.
There's mail coming in everywhere.
There's mail everywhere. First of all, from the text line, it was the security camera and guard release it just like they did at the Chinese restaurant for the Bulldogs and released the photo of VK.
Oh, yeah.
William Kikau signing from the Panthers. Was there a security guard there filming? Or was it just general vision? I don't know. Anyway, what have you got? What's your mail, Brandy? You got any mail?
New South Wales journo that is assumed to be a blue but is in actual fact a born-bred Queenslander. Last name rhymes with a breakfast delicacy. That's the clue that I've just been...
Croissant?
I don't know.
Hang on. Peter Bedell. Does that bagel? Bagel? I don't know.
The bagel. Peter the Bagel. Peter the Bagel Bedell.
Is it Johnny Romlet? Or rhymes with omelette? Who is this journo?
So assumed to be a blue, but a born and bred Queenslander.
Oh, that's cryptic.
Yeah. I'll go with the bagel.
That's so cryptic. Question without notice, David. Are you a fan of lacrosse? The sport of lacrosse, that's come up there. A lot of people... reacting to my comments that it's got to be one of the worst sports on earth.
But there's something that
never warmed to lacrosse.
Never warmed to. I've never watched it, but there was a text here that said, was it male or female?
They run with different rules
because apparently they're completely different.
This one, I played lacrosse in high school. Actually, really good. Played hurling with a bunch of lunatic Irishmen. Now that game is brutal. Thank you for that feedback. Lacrosse will catch on. It's in the 2028 Olympics. Thank you for that information.
So is that a sport along with tag footy?
So you can't answer that. Now, have you ever been to Hillsdale, David?
Haven't been to Hillsdale.
There you go. Have you ever heard of Hillsdale?
No, I thought that was the place in Back to the Future. That's not that's Hill
Valley. Hill Valley.
Hill Valley.
Well, now we're being told.
It's a shopping centre across from the Centre of Excellence at Heffron Park, and it says Hillsdale Shopping Centre.
It's Sydney's best kept secret, Hillsdale. So, David,
have you spent much time out at South's Centre of Excellence, David?
Yeah, I have. I've actually been to that shopping centre. I never noticed it was called Hillsdale.
There we go. Hillsdale. Talk about under the radar. A little suburb under the radar, Hillsdale. There we go. Fascinating, the show. Really is fascinating. David, you've had a wonderful contribution to the program today, but could you please leave us with some words of wisdom?
Thank you, boys. Go well.
And that will do us. David Riccio from the Telegraph. Bit of fun there, but lots of news in that. And is there anyone out there, who doesn't believe Sexton and Mahoney, they're gone. They're gone. They're gone. And we're almost leaning towards, if a club wanted them now, the competition leaders, are you saying, would let two of their spine potentially go? The team leading the comp. This is unheard of. It's unheard of.
It is.
You're 9 and you're 7. You lead the damn competition. And yet we're all thinking they would be allowed to go.
Yes.
Oh, wow. What a sport. What a game. Breakfast with Vossy and Brandy. Get on the phones right now. Great Southern.
You know, Michael, doctors say a proper breakfast includes eggs, bacon and breakfast with Vossy and Brandy. So get your daily fix through our socials and listen live on SEN Radio.